Red vs. Blue Season 16 Episode 5 Headshots has officially released, so let me break it down for you. So Sarge has assembled the world's best fighting force, which only consists of 3 soldiers. In what I can only assume for now, he has gathered John Wayne, George Washington, and Alexander the Great after he was poisoned. With this new fighting force, Sarge actually does decide to do the most logical thing of all the Reds and Blues, and he decides to kill Temple. Unfortunately for Sarge, Donut's hole can only fit 2 grown men at once, and because of it, they don't get sent back in time. They get sent to the future, and Sarge ends up killing an actor. Jax is no longer a reporter and has decided to make a film based off their adventures. He gives the two a tour of the set, and this is where most of the episode as well as comedy comes from. So because Sarge killed Temple's actor, he wants to be the lead in the movie. He gets Private John to help him perform, however John is chosen to play the role. He has taken everything from Sarge, so now Sarge wants to take everything back. It surprises me that Sarge had no problem in wanting to play a Blue. He ridiculed Simmons and called him a traitor when he did it, and now we're expecting to believe Sarge would just don blue armor so easily like that? Psh, I don't think so. Anyway, things continue to get weird for me here with the time travel. I thought it was established that the characters can't change anything. The pizza quest was the thing that changed, but so far it hasn't been directly tied to the Reds and Blues. But here Sarge has pulled 3 historical figures out from their respective timelines. So is this them changing the past? Because now there are 3 people missing from history. So now it flip-flops back and forth between they can't affect anything to now they're affecting stuff. There seems to be no rules that are in place right now as to what is happening and how it's going to affect the characters. It's upsetting for me right now that the rules are just whatever is convenient for the plot of an episode. Something I have been seeing a lot in the comments is how much love Jax is getting. I've been seeing a lot of people saying that this version of Jax is great. He's funny, he's entertaining, and most importantly, he's not annoying. Now, I personally have never had a problem with Jax. I mean, I didn't trust him and I thought he was a traitor because let's be honest here, Frank was better. But Jax to me was just a character that was there. I didn't like him, nor did I dislike him. But here in this episode, a lot of the audience seem to enjoy Jax in this type of role that is there, but not in a way that interferes with the plot. And to that I say, cool. Anyway, so that's their bit. And finally we are left with the cosmic powers, cosmic beings that cosmic the cosmos. Who knows what they actually do? Atlas is upset with the Reds and Blues as they have begun to fulfill the great prophecy, and so he wants them dead. That's the gist of what he says. Let's address the elephant in the room. At least 3 of these characters are based off Norse gods. So first you've got Atlas, he's Odin, mostly cemented by the fact that Huggins and Muggins are based off Odin's ravens, Hugin and Munnin. Then you've got the trickster, Loki, as well as the hammer-wielding Thor. Kali Rama, on the other hand, is not Norse. She is the Hindu goddess of death, Kali, who also has 4 arms. So it seems as though the cosmic powers are all based off gods, and this is where it becomes the most confusing. Being based off gods is whatever, any character can be based off anything. But the fact that Atlas said that they've been alive for eons is usually around a billion, makes the whole god thing more godlike. But the fact that they're wearing UNSC grade Spartan armor makes everything just what? If they're gods, then why are they wearing UNSC armor? UNSC armor is not the best thing in the universe and galaxy. It's the best thing that humans have. It's why they use it. But wait, some of you are saying, what if it's not UNSC armor? What if it's something else? And to that I would say, probably. I can't recall the last time I saw Spartan armor 50 times the size of a human. But you'd think the fact that he's extremely tall, taller than any other character, and has exclusively been CG'd, maybe they would have taken some creative liberties to make him not look like a preset that they put in the game. You'd think that, but that doesn't seem to be the case. Maybe there's joke somewhere in there, like the fact that the armor is called Mjolnir armor, and Mjolnir's the name of Thor's hammer, and this guy's Thor. Maybe there's a joke, but probably most likely not. So things aren't making sense, but not in the way that they haven't been. Most things so far haven't been making sense in the fact that the story is a puzzle and we've been given pieces here and there, and eventually everything will form to make a picture and make sense. But here, it's just flawed. Everyone has been wearing armor because they're soldiers, with the exceptional joke here and there, like in this episode where he just forces everyone to wear armor. Whatever, that's a joke, gets away with it. But gods wearing human armor doesn't fundamentally make sense. Aliens made their own armor. Forerunners, millions of years old, made their own armor. Gods, billions of years old. Let's go with 26th century armor. Geniuses. Moving on. One of the reasons Atlas is worried is because someone is locked up, and with every actions the Reds and Blues do, it makes it ever closer to releasing him. But fortunately for the Reds and Blues, they have his support.
Their every action wears thin chains that bind him.
They have his protection.
And thus ends another meeting of the Pronoun Club. Same time next week, everybody.
Ah yes, the pronoun game. The way that no one ever in real life speaks. I was at a bar last night and I ran into him. Who are you talking about? Just say their names. They're not Voldemort. Which wouldn't actually be the weirdest thing to happen this season. It wouldn't even be the weirdest thing to happen this episode. So unless whoever's being locked up is a character whose name the audience would immediately recognize, then stop being so weird. No one speaks in pronouns. Anyway, so I've come to learn that calling them aliens doesn't matter in the slightest anymore. At first it was an interesting thing to continually take note of, but now because of the fact that they're eons old, that doesn't matter anymore. Aliens worshipped ancient races, most predominantly the Forerunners. So before, we didn't think that they were ancient beings, we thought that they were relatively modern villains. All we can say now is that the aliens in Red vs. Blue worshipped these guys, which is why they use the word Shizno. In fact, the only place I can see this story going is back to season 3 and 4, where everything sort of derived from. It's where the word Shizno came from, aliens, but most importantly, the Great Prophecy. They even use the words, the Great Prophecy, this episode.
The Great Prophecy is unfolding.
And now I can only assume that that great prophecy is no longer just a lie. Before, it was all just one big ol' lie created by Gamma and Wyoming to trick them so they can get an alien to wield a sword and they can use the alien to control their race and end the Great War. But now, you're telling me that that lie created by them wasn't a lie, it was an actual prophecy. And the one thing that Gamma ever spoke the truth about was an ancient alien belief that their destruction was coming. On one hand, I can get with that. I'm down for that prophecy actually holding some truth. But on the other hand, really doesn't make any sense. All Gamma and Wyoming and even Omega, all they wanted to do was enslave the aliens using their beliefs against them. So why would this prophecy hold true if that's all they cared about? Perhaps I've gone too far down this rabbit hole in assuming that this is where they planned on going. I don't know, just speculation. I mean, whatever's happening with the cosmic powers as well as the fates, more things don't make sense about them than that of which do at the moment. I'll be honest, I don't fully know how to feel about what's happening with these guys. I'm not gonna judge the entire season because we've only been given 5 episodes in this multi-season arc, so obviously we'll see how things play out. But based on what we've been given so far, it's so outlandish. Like Red vs. Blue has always kept its feet firmly planted in Halo lore. They take plenty of creative liberties with it, yes, but things like the Great War, aliens, they've all been fairly realistic in the universe of Halo. Most things can be tied back to the games and its lore. The most bizarre thing that was done was the original time travel, but that has since been retconned, so now everything has made sense again. But with what appears to be happening now with the cosmic powers is so ridiculous even for Halo standards, that as of now, it feels so disjointed from everything else. Before, it was a story about finding the creator of an AI and getting justice. Then it was about a group of soldiers getting caught in the middle of a civil war, very believable. But now we've got time-traveling soldiers handpicked by God to fight possibly the living embodiment of destiny. It's quite the big jump to make there, and I'm quite worried it may not stick the landing. Joe, in my opinion, has done a great job at keeping the entertainment level high, but he hasn't been doing the best job at keeping the lore of everything intact. I've been enjoying all of the adventures that each of these characters are going on. They're fun, entertaining, and enjoyable. But when it comes time for me to analyze the details, things begin to fall apart. The ideas and concepts seem to be all there, but in execution, not so much. It's a very similar feeling to what happened last season. I thought the idea of having copycats of the main cast was great, but in execution, making them the originals kinda fucked with what made the characters unique. I hope that everything this season does keep it in a nice ball of lore, but considering what he's juggling right now, I'm worried. Like, I think Joe could do a great job if the story were pure comedy. Like old school Red vs. Blue, nothing grandiose is happening, it's all about the characters and their ability to be funny. I firmly believe Joe would excel in that. However, he introduced gods, which is the exact opposite. So now it feels like he's doing very funny comedic things with the main cast, and then he's fumbling a bit with the true story. But like I said earlier, we are still in the early stages of the season as well as this arc, so I hope to be proven wrong, and I hope Joe nails what he's going for. But only time will tell. So for now, that is going to do it for this video. Be sure to like the video if you liked it, subscribe if you're interested in more content like this, consider becoming a sponsor over on Patreon. You get all the content early, and it really does help out the channel. Be sure to follow me on all social medias, and I'll see you in the next video.